Hi everybody, Jenny Guthrie at Glow Medical Aesthetics, and I was just wanting to do a little video today talking a bit about beauty and aging, which sometimes I use the word maturing when I'm in the office because it sounds a little bit kinder than aging. Although we're all heading in the same direction no matter what we're doing. It's like I always tell people, if you're born, you start aging from the moment you're born until aging is no longer an option, and then you're done. And so it's something that affects everybody. It's ubiquitous. It comes for all of us. And so I have a lot of conversations in the treatment room with my patients about beauty and vanity and money and men and all of these things that we talk about. And so it reinforces to me every day why I do what I do. And I think the kind of the undercurrent that a lot of us deal with is just we don't like getting older. We don't like looking older. We don't like looking on the outside differently than we feel on the inside. Like we feel one way on the inside, and when we look in the mirror, it doesn't match. And there's a disconnect there. And so part of my job and what I love to do is help create a connection for people between the way they see themselves in the mirror or in photos, different things along that line, and having that match more what they feel on the inside. And so there's not a big difference sometimes, or a big distance between the face and the heart, but sometimes as we mature, it's like there's a bigger gap between those two all the time. And so part of what I do is help to marry those two together and bring them closer together as much as I can. And I tell patients all the time that I firmly believe we were not meant to age, because I think a lot of people feel guilty about that. They're concerned about the way they look, that they feel like it's shallow and empty. And I mean, that can be. I mean, there's always a component of things that are good that we kind of take too far or abuse it in certain ways. But in all honesty, I think we were meant to live forever. I think that's how God designed things originally. I think He designed us to live eternally with Him, and that is intrinsically in our DNA. And so because that's not the way things are right now, we live in a fallen and a broken world, and we are fallen and broken people who are, thankfully we can be restored from that. There's an opportunity and an option for that. But while we're living here in this world, our bodies and things are subject to that brokenness and those things that aren't quite right. And I feel like we know it. We know it in our hearts that something is not right. And so I really feel like I've been called to this role where I help people with that disconnect as much as I can with the tools and the skills that I currently have available to me. I can't stop the aging process, but I can at least help some of the effects of it while we're, all doing this thing called life. And so I don't feel like it's wrong that we do that, because I do feel like, again, there's that disconnect and that we were meant to live forever. And we absolutely know that when we see these lines and wrinkles on our face, although we earn them and there's some joy, in that, that it's a good thing that we have had the opportunity to earn those lines. We may not always appreciate them, and we can at least do something, about that. And then there's the other side with regard to beauty and vanity, and people feel like they're shallow for wanting Botox or fillers. And again, I don't feel like there's that has to be that way, that it's not wrong. Just like doing your hair or putting on makeup or having your nails painted or anything along those lines that aren't technically necessary for life and just functionality, they're still really important, and there's something that they do for your soul. There's something that they do for us in helping us be more confident and be more willing to get out there, maybe and meet people or live our lives or do better at our jobs or different things along that line. And I always have the conversation with people about money, because that's sometimes a touchy subject. I think we all have issues around money to some degree for a variety of reasons. But in the Bible, it talks about that the love of money is the root of all evil. But money is not evil in itself, that it's a tool that we use. And we have to have it. It's just something that we have to exist. And so it's how you deal with money. It's how you handle money. It's how you relate to money or how you feel about money. Sometimes it can get you into trouble and be bad. And I honestly believe that beauty beauty is the same way. It's not a bad thing intrinsically to want to be as beautiful as you could possibly be, or be your most beautiful self, because every face has beauty. Every person has beauty inside of them. And so from that standpoint, it's one of those things, I think it's how you view it and how you use it. Do you use beauty to hurt other people? Or do you use your beauty to control other people? Do you use beauty as a way to get ahead and maybe to not develop your character in other ways? And then, or do you love beauty in a way that you put it ahead of other things that maybe are also important? And I think that's when you start getting into trouble with it, that it becomes a negative thing, just like anything else that we can idolize or that we can place on a pedestal, so to speak. But it's not wrong to want to have it and appreciate it and be the best that you can be. And it's not a bad thing. And I think we need to kind of get away from that guilt, around that. The other thing that I talk with people about a lot is around beauty is I feel ultimately beauty comes from Jesus and from our Father in heaven. Because I feel like he's the creator of all things. And many times in the Bible, it's talked about where he is beautiful and that he's actually like real beauty and true beauty. And I think we are created in his image. And so from that standpoint, we're made in the image of God, and he's beautiful and he is absolute beauty. So I think a lot of times the beauty that we crave and the beauty that we seek is actually a reflection of him. Because, we all come from the same place. We all originate from, regardless of where you're from in the world, where we're from culturally, we all kind of originate from the same place. A lot of the things in us as humans, the same thing is important to all of us. We want to be valued and loved and appreciated, and we all kind of have the same insecurities at the end of the day. And so from that standpoint, when we want that beauty, it's again not a bad thing, because it's a reflection of where we came from, and it's a reflection of our Maker. And we're actually called to be a reflection of him. So enhancing our outer beauty, as long as you're managing your inner beauty at the same time, is definitely not a negative thing.